Hey, would you look at that? We've got a new intro. Well, this is season 2 of Railroads Online, and y- you're going to notice a little bit of a change from last season, particularly the end of last season. I'm not going to be doing multiple episodes a week, or trying to record them. That is, we're going to stick to the one recording a week, because that just kind of it didn't really work out. It didn't really work out to try and record multiple episodes a week. But we're going to get started here in this new season with something probably a little bit different. You're going to notice over here uh, we got the flat cars over here that we've been using to transport lumber to the sawmill. Well, we're going to start by taking the Montezuma out and loading that train up and putting it back in the outbound, because that's how I'm making the money right now to afford the rolling stock that we're going to be sorting and switching out today. So we're going to go ahead and get the Montezuma rolling here, and if I can get the light, there we go. We're going to go ahead and get that train loaded up and get things moving. So here in this new season, I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get everything up and running. Um, Probably over the next 5 or 10 episodes, and I'm going to try and keep these seasons to about 20 to 22 episodes long. Specifically because that seems to be a decent length of time uh, per season. Now, we may not get the yard completely sorted today, and you'll see why here in a little bit. Um, but if we do get it all sorted today, we're going to be taking a rake of empties up to the smelter, the coal mine, and the iron ore mine, because we've got a lot of rolling stock now. I spent the 5 weeks that I was not recording at all building up the rolling stock, and we're actually going to be passing right by it uh, as we go to grab the back end of this train so that we can actually uh, get it sorted correctly. And we're going to start by grabbing the caboose and moving it over to the outbound. This is just probably about the easiest way that I've found to be able to do this all in uh, you know, quick, uh, one quick maneuver. I should, for lack of a better word. There's actually going to be 3 movements that we do here. First one, we're going to move the caboose over to the outbound. And then we're going to take 2 rakes of 15. That's the other 2 movements. We're going to take 2 rakes of 15 of these flat cars. We're going to split this train in half. And we're going to go load those up. Now, I have not tried this with the Montezuma yet, so we're going to see this in real time, whether or not it can handle the 15 cars pulling it back the uh, from the forestry. So you can see in the time that I have not been recording, we've got a bit of a mess over here. And as much of a mess as we've got, we're still not done buying rolling stock. We've still got quite a bit left to go. And you can see the outbound is just, or the inbound is just completely loaded right now. And we're not done buying rolling stock yet. we're not going to be finished until we've got, whoops, go the right direction, until we've got a sizable amount of all of them. I think I've got right now a total of 50 of the flat cars and the stake cars. I could be wrong in assuming that we've got anything close to 50 of anything else. In fact, I probably am. I know I've got it written down. I just don't have my notes with me. Um, but yeah, we're not done buying rolling stock, but I figured, I ran out of time in my break. I definitely needed that break. We've had some hectic weather, and this episode in and of itself almost didn't get recorded uh, because of the weather. See, Friday, right now I'm recording this as Sunday, so it's going to go out tomorrow. Uh, Friday, I just coupled that up and then I uncoupled it. That was smart. Let's go ahead and recouple that. Thursday into Friday, we had a storm come up from Oklahoma that had they decided to, or had the National Weather Service decided to issue another tornado warning on it, I would have had about 45 seconds from the time they issued that tornado warning to the time the storm hit my house to get to my storm shelter. So I couldn't do any recording Thursday night into Friday, which is understandable. And then Friday night was just a wait for the weather and hope for the best type of situation, because that was the day that we were supposed to have all the nasty weather. So Friday I didn't get any recording done, and then Saturday I just slept all damn day. I mean, I think I was up for a grand total of about 3 hours. So yeah, this last weekend was quite taxing. So this video almost did not get recorded this weekend, but we're here now, and we are making progress toward getting the yard cleaned out. Now, I don't expect that we will have everything sorted um, by the end of this episode, but we're gonna give it the old college try. We're gonna do what we can. We're not gonna be taking any loads up the mountain today, and we're not gonna be taking any uh, loaded log trains up to the sawmill or bringing any of the cut lumber back down. But we've got a couple of episodes where that can be done, especially if we manage to get this yard cleaned out within the next episode or two. So we're definitely going to try for that this episode, but if it doesn't, we'll carry on in the next episode, and probably the episode after that we will take a pretty decent chunk of that rolling stock that you saw just a minute ago up to where it needs to go. So basically what I've been doing in my off time, as far as running these, is just basically taking the log train here back and forth, loading it up, delivering delivering the raw goods to the sawmill, and then taking this other train that's in the outbound over there, bringing it back to the central depot and unloading it. Now that nets me about 8,000 in-game dollars per full um, load and unload of all of the goods coming from the sawmill. Now I'll get about 1,000 or 2,000 from the logs, and then I'll get 8 from the cut lumber. Once everything is, once I've completely exhausted the sawmill of all of its resources. But that usually takes, oh, oops, whoa, we're going to have a problem there. That usually takes, oh, maybe 3 or 4 hours to do per trip, so I can only do like one a day if I do that many. So we'll probably see a pretty steady trickle of rolling stock coming into the yard in the very near future. Now, I have not prioritized any new cabooses as of yet. Am I already uncoupled? Yep, looks like it. We'll find out. We are. How about that? All right. So now to run back around to the front of the train. I have not prioritized any new cabooses, so we've only got the two down here that we've got available. Uh, and beyond that, we we have the cabooses up at the top station, and that's about it. But by the end of this season, we'll have enough cabooses to make everything work because we're already more than halfway toward getting all of the rolling stock that we need. We just need to make it, or we need to sort it out and put it in sightings. Something else that I'm planning on doing this season is building out the holding yard. I've been thinking about this for a couple 3 weeks now, and you'll notice the holding yard that I've got over here is a fair bit smaller. Now we've got the state cars over there right now, but the excess state cars that we had in the last season, I've got those over there right now. But you'll notice that it's a little bit small for the amount of rolling stock that we've got. So we need to build that out. So that's going to be a thing. Oh, probably about halfway through the season, once we get everything sorted and put into sightings, we'll need a better place to put that. And I've already got a plan for that, so we'll see how well that works out. But for right now, I want to welcome you guys back to Railroads Online, and I've got plans for this episode, or for this series, this season rather, and a lot of them have to do with what you're looking at right now, is the rolling stock here in the yard, and building out the yard just a little bit more. Like I said, this little holding area over here next to the hump is it's not big enough for everything that we're going to have over here, and that includes the train that I've got built up right here, and the state cars that are in the outbound. Those are trains that I'm just using on a regular basis, but they're gonna be put into holding later on. And my plan for the holding yard is to build out this area over here that we had to avoid this hill, and bring some more sidings out next to this little line right here, that's going off toward the switchbacks. So I'm going to go ahead and get this first rake of 15 uncoupled. I'm going to get a drink because the weather is playing unfairly with my sinuses at the moment, and my throat is extremely dry. So I'm going to go ahead and get these uncoupled and start it out, and I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back, and I've got these split out, I think, correctly. So let's see. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Right, okay. So we've got these split out. I'm going to go ahead and set my switches while we're creeping along here. And we're going to break the rules of the railroad here, and we're just going to stay uh, on this inside line, this line right here. You see, this line. We're going to go ahead and stay on that line, mainly because everything that we're everything that we are doing um, is going to center around that line. We've got to take all of the rolling stock on that line and uh, transfer it around the yard. So it should work out fairly easily. Now I know the Montezuma is going to struggle with these even as they are empty. Uh, it's not going to get up to speed, but I'm not really considering that too much of an issue. What concerns me is that it will not be able to. There's a slight hill over by the locomotive shed at the logging camp that that this may not be able to pull those last few cars back up. So we go almost all the way to the bumper stop with this. It's actually done a fairly good job of getting up to speed. We go almost all the way to the bumper stop with these 15. I tested that much out over the last few weeks, and it seems to work pretty good. The only thing that we really need to be concerned with is the pulling power of this particular locomotive in getting the train started back up that little bit of a hill. So we're just going to come up here and we're going to get these loaded up and we're going to get them taken back to the yard ready for my next offline running session. Unless you guys would like to see more just of what I'm doing uh, in terms of building up funds. Because basically all I was doing, I mean, literally all I was doing over the last 5 weeks was doing exactly what you're seeing right now, bringing the empties over here, loading them back up, and taking them back to the outbound. And then once the sawmill was full, I'd go and grab the stake cars and bring those to the sawmill, load them up, go back to the central depot, and unload everything for some spending cash. Now, since it's dark out, and I know you guys don't particularly like just seeing virtually nothing, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this bit out, and I'll get back with you when it gets daylight. But just so you guys are aware, the real focus of this episode's back at the yard. So we will get there after we get the log train loaded, and I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back, and the sun's just starting to come up. This took quite a bit longer to load up than I was thinking it would, but eh, it is what it is. So, well, it looks like we might actually get this moved back up the hill, but you can see, clear down here, that this is the little bit of a hill that I was talking about. And, I mean, it's not much, but we all know now that the Montezuma is not the most powerful locomotive there is. So getting it going back up this hill might be a little bit of a thing. While we're starting out here, I'm going to go ahead and make set my points so that we've got everything where we need it to be, and we do for the most part. Let's set that back. Yeah, I kind of leave my switches set when I do offline running, mainly because it's just faster, and that's pretty much how we're gonna be doing this today. But for now, I think we've kind of proven that the Montezuma can hold its own here with the log cars. So yeah, I think we've got a good yard locomotive here that we can utilize for short runs down here from the forestry over to the central depot. And we shouldn't particularly need the two uh, tank engines that we've got parked over here, but larger um, operations may require those locomotives be put into action, like say during multiplayer while somebody's over manning the yard with this locomotive, they'll need to and they need to bring some rolling stock from the forestry over to the yard. Well, this locomotive's kind of occupied, and if any of the other locomotives in the roundhouse at the central depot are occupied, then they're going to have to use the tank engines over here, which isn't exactly the worst thing in the world to have happen. But you can see with the cars fully loaded, we are struggling to make 10 mile an hour. So this is, well, we made it, but it's still struggling. But this is about as much as this locomotive can handle on flat ground. I would be scared to try and take this on even a short hill, to be honest with you. Now, we do still have the train of seed pallets that's going up to the top station. I have not taken that up in my offline running sessions. I still want to put a couple of more box cars on that to take up there. I'm gonna try and get a rake of 10 going for that, and we'll um, modify the switchbacks as we need to for that. But that's going to take some testing to do, so that'll be another episode. So we've got, I think, quite a few episodes lined up that we can do without really running out of content. Yeah, this is Montezuma's really struggling to do this, but I think we've got a good locomotive here. At least for the what I consider the short work, the light work of manning the yard, and maybe the short run to the forestry. I'm gonna try and get out of the habit of calling it a lumber yard, but that may still happen. Now, I'm not gonna worry too much about since the locomotive can only go so fast. I mean, you're looking here, we're only making 10 mile an hour, and our regulator's wide open. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the second half of this operation so that we can get to the meat and potatoes of this particular episode in fairly short order. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a idea as to what I've been doing in the last 5 weeks while those rather um, lackluster episodes were exhausting themselves from my stockpile. Uh, I'm not proud of those episodes at all. I did the best I could to make them worth watching, but yeah, for the most part, I don't think that doing multiple episodes a day is going to be a thing, specifically for the reason that it just doesn't give me enough time between episodes to really do very much toward um, preparing for another episode. So we were basically going from one thing to the next with very little preparation, and for this series, that's just not something that we can handle doing because it takes so long to get anything done that you've got one episode of decent, content, and then another episode of basically just filler, and it was really exhausting, to be honest with you, which is why I had so few of them. But yeah, for this series going forward, I'm only gonna record one episode a week, maybe two if I get far enough ahead in what I'm doing, specifically the purchasing of rolling stock. We're gonna be I'm gonna be getting at least 50 of each type of rolling stock that we need here in this map, and I'm gonna get a number of cabooses. We're gonna fill that little caboose holding yard. We're gonna fill that, and we're gonna have enough rolling stock to fill this yard, this whole yard, easily. I mean, we need rolling stock pretty well everywhere on this line. So we're gonna have well more than 50 of each, but I'm gonna start with 50 of each, and that's including what we already have right here, and already in the holding yard, which is not entirely built yet. But like I said earlier, we'll get to that point, and I think this season will be probably a little bit better than the last if I don't burn myself out on recording again like I did in the last season. Which, like I said, this game is fun. I could sit and play it for hours a day, every day. To me that's not the issue. The issue is actually doing the recording and not knowing what I can do to make it a decent video, which I'm pretty sure is why a lot of the videos toward the end of the last season kind of fell off in viewership, with the only really good episodes being the building episodes. And I know it used to be, when I started doing this, it used to be the other way around, where the building episodes were the garbage episodes, and everything else was getting, 3 times the views that I was getting otherwise. Okay, so that's the first. Let's turn my lantern off. That's the first rake of 15. Now we get to do the second rake, and I'll show you what I'm doing for that, which it's actually a lot easier for that one, because we don't have to do a runaround. Now, the only reason we did the runaround on this is because I had to split it into two trains. But we don't have to do that this time. All we have to do is couple up to it and go. So let's get, while we're moving over here, let's get all of our switches set. And it looks like we're good to go. So yeah, a lot of what you're seeing right now is not going to change when we go into add the holding area. A lot of that's not going to change. What is going to change is the area immediately behind the depot and the roundhouse and all of that. Now the tracks themselves that are already laid, that's not going to change. We're just going to add more in. in the open space between the sorting yard and the inbound yard. Over basically over where that hill was that we had to avoid when we were building the sorting yard. Now, admittedly, I did a dumb right off the bat starting this out. All of these cars, all of these sitting here waiting, every single one of them has their brakes on. So I'm going to have to brake when we go to sorting these and turn off or release all the brakes on every one of these cars. And there's around about 100 cars right now sitting there. So I've got to go through and release the brakes on all of those before we can move even one rake of them. And then we'll get them sorted and put into the holding area over here. So that shouldn't be too big of a deal, but it might take a little bit of time. Alright, so we can just go ahead and push this right on. We don't have to worry about anything. So we will do that. And we'll head back over to the forestry. Get our point set. Okay. We're still good. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to have another spur come off of this last sighting over here. And we're going to put some more sightings in over in this area until they get to the hill, and then we're going to run a line over to where it flattens back out, and we're going to put a few more sightings in over here. Ultimately, my goal is to have as much or more holding area than we actually need. And the reason for that is we're going to have all of the rolling stock down here, plus we're going to have the stuff at the oil industries and the iron industry, the coal industry, all of that. We're going to have, those are all going to be full of rolling stock by the time we get done. And I'm keeping a running tally on how much rolling stock I actually have, and I think by the time we get to 100 units of each of them, see, I'm starting with 50, by the time we get to 100, I think we should be okay with what we've got. But for the most part, this part of the line is done. Also, something else that we're going to be getting is ventilated box cars. They're not actually reefer cars, refrigerated box cars. They're ventilated. We're going to be getting some of those to take up to the meat packing plant, and we're going to load that industry up as well. We're going to load as many of those into that industry as we can, but we're not going to have any set specifically down here in the valley because we really don't need them. We've got the capacity up at the meat packing plant for those cars, so that's where they're gonna stay. And that's the only industry that we've got that takes that specific type of car. So I don't see a real need to buy any more than what will fit up there. And we'll probably take those up 10 at a time. So there's no real issue with that. I'd take them up the gravity. I'd take them the wrong way up the gravity line, but I don't think we have a locomotive that will go up that hill, because that's a pretty steep climb. If the trains can roll down under their own weight, then I don't think a locomotive could pull them up. I don't think even the geared locomotives could. So we'll have to take them up the switchbacks, probably 10 at a time, if not less. But we'll get those when we get everything else taken care of, and we will take care of the oil industries when we get that built in. I think, and this is probably an uh, ambitious plan here, but I would like to get the map finished this season. Get it finished out, get all of the rolling stock that we need. I would like to get it finished out this season so that uh, we can start on a new map for season 3. Now, I don't know if we're going to continue on with the with this particular map in the series proper. We may revisit it for multiplayer sessions, but I those will be in the Railroads Online playlist, but they will not be part of the actual series. And in fact, I may when we go to do multiplayer in this map, I may make another uh, playlist here on YouTube specifically for those, just like I've got a separate playlist for the ASMR videos. But that remains to be seen. We'll see where we get by the end of this series. And like I said, I'm going to try and keep it 20, maybe, wow, that was weird, maybe 22 at the longest. Last season happened to be 21. That's just where I ended up stopping. At that point, I was just so thoroughly burnt out that I could not. I actually could not bring myself to record another video. It just, I was so tired of not having enough of what I wanted to do available that I needed to stop recording. It wasn't that I didn't have it in me. It wasn't that I was just, tired of doing the recordings. It was that I was tired of not having available what I needed to have available. It just started to feel repetitious. So we're going to try and avoid that this season by only doing one episode a week. That seemed to work out for the start of last season fairly well. Um, I have this year canceled my mowing contracts. However, there's a lot of work that I've still got to do on the farm. I've got a lot of trees that need taken down. I've got a lot of trees that need cut up. And we're looking at starting a snow cone business this summer as well, so that's going to take up some time. So I think one episode a week is probably going to be about it for actual record time. And I will do offline recording sessions, when I have the time, and we'll see where we end up. But I have a very distinct feeling that this season, uh, this season will work a little bit smoother than last season did, mainly because I know more about what I'm doing here with this series, and more of what I want to do versus just going, winging it like I did in the last season. So we'll get this loaded up. I kind of screwed up loading up the last one. Didn't get my brakes put on in time. Ended up loading 3 on one 3 on this wagon here, skipping this wagon, and then fully loading this wagon. I didn't get my brakes put on in time, and by the time it gets to this point, it's pretty well gonna start dragging the locomotive around wherever it wants it to go. So you can see we're still moving. My brakes are full on, and we may just end up rolling right on past. No, we got it stopped. How about that? That's awesome. Now we got one more car here to load, and then we'll take this and put it back in the inbound or outbound. And then I will brake and get all the brakes released from the rolling stock that we've got cluttering up the we're not even gonna we're gonna have to use two cranes here. Yeah, just keep on rolling. Oh, it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. Is it gonna do it? Hey, how about that? All right. Are we gonna get moving? This is what I was worried about. Are we gonna get moving? I think we will. It's just gonna take a while. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and brake after we get this hooked up and release all the brakes from the rolling stock that we've got cluttering up the yard. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and get this season started off right. I love that new intro. I don't know how you guys like it. Let me know. Do you guys like that intro? Do you want to keep it or uh, maybe go back to the way the episodes were? Personally, I think it's a little bit better than just breaking right on in with uh, my old with my old welcome to line. I think uh, I think if I can grab some footage from this series, we may do a new intro for next season too. And we can keep on doing that. And I'm going to play around a little bit with ATS to do something similar. There's a good chance that there won't be as much uh, for ATS in terms of external views, things like that, because I really don't like running. I don't like driving third person. It's kind of a weird thing for me. I used to do it all the time as a kid, but in video games and all that. But anymore, it's weird. I drive better in first person, so a lot of the clips for the intro on that may be first person. But next season on that will be or season 3 on American Truck Simulator will be there will probably be some third person stuff. So yeah, there's a lot going to be happening over the course of the next few weeks. As of right now, I have not yet started filming Bioshock. That's still in the works. Bioshock 2 is still in the works. It's still in the process. I just haven't started filming it yet. I will be I will be including that in a new series as part of the Bioshock series, um, or playlist rather, a new playlist as part of the Bioshock series. Um, that said, okay, let's get our switches set before I forget again. That said, I've also got uh, a map, right now, one map that I'm working on in Transport Fever 2. That's going to end up being a thing. It may not be a regular series like this one with one episode a week, but it will most certainly make an appearance. I still have a couple of other games that I'd like to bring on. I'm not really sure about the golfing games that I've got. I don't know if that'd be really something that anybody be interested in, and I may not do that. So there's no worries on that if I do or if I don't. But um, but yeah, there's a lot more transportation themed uh, games that I've got that will most likely make an appearance in this series, or on this channel rather. Transport Fever 2. When Transport Fever 3 comes out, that'll be a thing. I know I've got a couple of Empire games. I think they're like Transport Empire or something like that. Those are probably going to make an entrance into this channel. Um, let's see, what else do I have? I've got world builders like Anno and uh, Tropico and things like that. Uh, those may come in. Roller Coaster Tycoon, Locomotion, those may come in. Things like that. Things that center around world building seem to be fairly popular. Uh, and this channel seems to be. I seem to be leaning more toward the transportation theming of the series, or of the channel, than I'd originally anticipated. This was supposed to be a just a general any game I wanted to play type of deal. But I've noticed that most of my views have been on ATS and railroads, to the almost entire exclusion of um, Bioshock, which is the only other game so far that I've had on this channel. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's only 3 Bioshock games, so that's not going to be a long-lived uh, series. But it's still going to be something that gets included by the end of it. But that does tell me that games like Call of Duty are probably not going to be making an appearance on this channel. Now, there are racing games that I do plan to bring on, car centered games that I do plan to bring on, such as Beam and G Drive. Those will be making an appearance. I've also got other games that I'm looking at getting over the course of the summer that have to do with things like drifting and rally and things like that. So we'll just see how that goes, and with any luck, we'll have some. I'll have some decent content in the works. By at least the end of the year. Now I am going to go ahead and cut here, and I am going to go and release all of the brakes on all of these cars so that we can actually move them. So I will be right back. Alrighty, we are back. I'm going to go ahead and get some more wood in the firebox here, and we'll get going. Now, I think what the plan is that we're going to do one uh, one row at a time. We're not going to try and get all of them all at once. That would just be that'd be that'd be stupid, to be honest with you. Uh, Mainly because I don't think this locomotive could do it. But we're going to send each rake over the hump, and we are going to sort them as best we can. I'm going to try and go a fair bit slower than the last time we tried to sort uh, a consist, but mistakes can still happen. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up to this first line here. It's going to be the furthest one from us right now. And we'll pull that whole line out and we'll send it over the hump to be sorted by type. And right now, we're not going to sort into individual trains. I figure we could build those as we go. But right now, I want to sort these by type and get everything situated in such a way as we do not have to necessarily worry about trying to find everything or sort everything out later on. But you can see there's certainly quite a few of these cars. Now, I have seen trains that actually do look like this, that are just a hodgepodge of things that get put together. And, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're visually interesting, but for sake of what we're doing, um, this is not going to work. We need to get all these sorted out into their proper type designation. Now you can see we've got different types of ore cars. We've got box cars, we've got flat cars and state cars. And all of that needs to be sorted out. So we're just going to sort these by type and get them put in the holding area, and we can build trains from that at 15 to 20 cars per train, or maybe even 30 cars per train, depending on how adventurous I'm feeling as to getting all of these up the hill at one time. But like I said, we've got well more than 100 cars here. Or well, at the very minimum, we've got 80 to 100. But we will most certainly have more than 100 of everything. That is to say, in total rolling stock, we will have well more than 100 cars. So I want to go ahead and get it close to the hump without actually starting up, and that way we don't have the train pushing it down. And I wish there was a hotkey to uncouple these, but I don't think there is. That would make that would certainly make managing the hump yard on my own a little bit easier. But that is what it is. But we're going to come up here right to the bottom of the hill, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to uncouple everything so that we uncouple while we're sitting on the ground or on flat ground, and we don't have to worry about being. That's not where I wanted to go. We don't have to worry about being pushed back down the hill while we're waiting, or while we're trying to get the get the last car uncoupled. Wonder how I manage that. That's how I manage that. Okay. Because I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. Gotta love it when that happens. But yeah, we're gonna see how this. We're gonna see how it works. We're gonna try and get this. We're gonna try and get this all sorted out, and hopefully we've got enough storage for all of it. That's something I did not consider. If we overload our storage right to begin with, our next build episode may be our second episode of the season because we've only got that small amount of holding area right there directly in front of us to put all of this mess in. And considering that I've got more than 20 of some type of cars, there's a pretty good chance we're going to run out of space real quick. So, I mean, that's going to be what it's going to be. We'll find out when we get there. But it will definitely give me a very clear idea as to what I can do for the next episode. And I'm going to stop just short of the retaining wall there. Or I'm going to try to anyway. We'll find out how good I am. uh, right there. That looks great. Okay, we're going to go through and uncouple every one of these. And hope that we can move slow enough and not stall out so that we can actually manage the switches in the yard on the opposite side of the hump. Come on. There we go. Camera's not wanting to work with me right now. Oh well. Right. We're making a little progress here, I think. I'll tell you what, if I didn't have the automatic couplers on, this would be a lot harder than it is. Because you gotta put the pins in and connect the connecting rods uh, to each side of the couple joint here. And I think if I really want to do that on another map, we could probably make that happen. Okay, so that's the last coupler. So I'm going to go back up here to the locomotive and hopefully we can manage the switches in a very respectable manner. If not, we're going to have quite a fun time. So, where do I want to start? Well, to start with, we're going to open up every one of these. And we're going to start with the center two. So I want to get this switched in first. We're going to start with the center two, seeing as that's what we've got the most of at the moment. We've got more flat cars and stake cars than we've got of anything else. So that's what we're going to start with. And I think what we've got right to begin with at the very front of our train is a flat car. So we're going to start up the hill here. Find out if we can even move this thing up this hill. I know we managed to do the log cars and we were going to try and break it into 3 trains, but that didn't work out right. But that's not to say that this one won't move up the hill at some respectable speed just on its own. It's a lot shorter and Seems to be moving a fair bit easier. But this is actually right about as fast as I want to be going uh, on up the hill. And hopefully we don't lose too much speed. Yeah. I don't want to have to back it all down and uncouple everything again. So hopefully we can maintain this speed um, up the hill. But this is about as fast as I want to be going in general. Now this may end up being a job for Lucky to do, specifically because he is a little bit more powerful. But if I can keep this train moving, which it looks like it might be able to do, uh, that might not be necessary. We'll find out, but I don't think it'll be entirely necessary. See, we're getting up close here. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make it. Okay, so my throttle is, or my regulator's all the way open. We got no run up to this, so I don't think we're gonna make it. Alright, so that didn't work. Dang it. Oops. So we'll bring it down easy. I want to make sure that nothing couples back up. And if anything does couple back up, that's going to suck because we're going to have to go back through and check everything. So far, I'm not hearing anything. But that doesn't mean that something further up hasn't coupled back up yet. We're basically just letting this push us back down the hill. Now, once I get stopped, I'm going to go ahead and put the Montezuma away, and I'm going to go get Lucky, bring him down here. And this may be his job from now on. See, the Montezuma can do so much, but it can't do everything. And that's kind of a sad state of it. But we kind of figured that it wasn't that the locomotive wasn't going to be very powerful to begin with, and I'm surprised it's done as much as it has. I just didn't really want to get a decent run up, and I don't think that's necessary for this. Mainly because we need to keep this slow and controlled. So I'm just going to try and bring this down to a nice easy stop. See if we can't just let it coast on down just to the bottom of the hill here, see where it ultimately wants to stop. Because nothing is coupled up. This is all moving. Every car in here is moving independently. If I stop and then gun the throttle, it's going to try and move. So let's see if I can just, okay. So it looks like we're not rolling anymore. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the Montezuma back, and I will bring the I'll bring Lucky down here and see how he does. This may actually be a good job for him. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and we've got Lucky down here, and we're going to see how he does. So we're going to end up needing to probably couple every or uncouple everything again. But Lucky is a more powerful locomotive, so if he can get this train up the hill with some degree of, hey, look at that. We actually don't need to uncouple everything. I was going to say, if he can get this train up the hill with some degree of uh, ease, we may be able to just stop and uncouple everything as we go. Now, I am going to go ahead and wait until the sun comes back up so that we can actually see what we're doing. But I think that this at least deserves a shot, and we will see where we end up here in a few minutes. So I will be right back. Alrighty, we are back, and we're going to see how this works. Now, hopefully, Lucky, being a more powerful locomotive than the Montezuma, can actually maintain a small amount of speed. I don't need to go very fast, but we don't want to go so slow that we stall out either. Okay, so actually we need to slow down a little bit. That's a good sign. Now, whether or not that's a good sign because we're on flat ground or it's a good sign because we're already halfway up the hill, I don't know. But I'm sure we will find out. I know Lucky is quite a bit more, quite a bit, quite a bit more powerful than the Montezuma, so he should be able to make it up this hill with with some degree of um, reliability. And we don't want to go too very fast. We're actually going a lot faster than I think we need to, so we actually want to be going roughly a little bit slower than this wouldn't hurt. In fact, yeah, that should be good right there, that speed. So let's see. Our first car is a flat car. And then we've got a box car. Now we've stalled out. That's my fault. So we're actually going to take our time doing this. We're going to see where we need to. And the flat car is away. That's good. Unless it's managed to couple back up to everything. Nope, it's away. Okay. So we'll let that go down. We're going to put those in that first sighting. This one right here. And we'll go ahead and send the box car down. And pretty soon it will start moving quicker. And we're going to put it in the next sighting over. So it's rolling. Now I think we've got yes, we've got an ore car, so that's going to go in the sighting. This one here. So that one's away. Now we can swap this over to here. So that one's away. We've got another flat car that's going to go into the center. Got two flat cars, it looks like. So those are going to go into the center. Now we should have enough time. Flat car, okay. There we go. Just like that. Yep. Now it would greatly help to have a second set of hands here to do this, or to manage the switches while the other person uh pushes the cars up the hill. But we've got, why are we rolling backwards? We don't want to roll backwards. We want to go forwards. So we've got boxcar on that line, but we've got to wait for this. And there we go. Dang. Dang it, dang it, dang it. We've got a runaway now. Boxcar, flat car. Let's hope we can do this. Nope. Well, maybe this part won't get cut out, but the obscenity will. Apparently we missed a couple. See, this is what happens. So we're going to put the hopper car, we're actually going to put those over here. Okay. So we're going to try and keep this as clean as we can here. So I think what we're going to do from here on out, let's see if this is coupled back up. And it looks like they all did. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, I think. Oh, that didn't. Okay. So only some of them coupled back up. So let's go through and check all of our couplings again. And I've got to go into fly mode in order to do this. Okay, that one's free. That one's free. That one's free. That one's coupled. There we go. Okay. So it looks like some of them coupled, some of them didn't when we came back down. So that should take care of that. I think what we're going to do on the next strand here, on the next rake, is we're actually going to leave them coupled, and I'll uncouple them one by one. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a stake car, so we want that in that siding right there. And we'll see if we can't manage to control this a little better. I know I'm being a little overly cautious now, but after what just happened, once we get good at this, it'll pretty well it'll speed up, I think, a little bit, and it will certainly go a lot smoother if I have a second set of hands helping me out. So the stake car is away. Now we've got a ore car, I do believe. Yep. So we want that go over here. So let's wait until we get that one down. And we'll open this switch back up. There we go. Now we got another flat car after that, so we'll have to switch 2 switches, I think. Okay, so it's away. And that's a flat car, so we want, yeah, okay. So we want to switch that one, and once the ore car gets by, we'll swap that switch over. And you can see them up there in the top left corner. I'm sorry, I've got the map on, but I've got to be able to switch these. Uh, as best I can. Now see, this is one of those operations where you really need 2 people to do it. Okay, the flat car is away. We'll give it a little bit of time. Okay. And we will swap back over to our ore cars and put the next one in. Ah, shoot. Whole thing's gonna run away again. Oh, it didn't. How about that? Thank God. There we go. That's going to connect back up with that one. We're just going to leave those connected. Oh, no, we're not. We can't. Dang it. Uncouple that one. Uncouple this one. Get back in the locomotive. Push this up to where it connects back up to the gondola. The ore car. Go and uncouple that one. So this is a learning process. This is, whoops, I don't need that menu, at least not yet. This is kind of a learning process for me more than anything. Really? It it started to go and then it reconnected. Okay, now it's going. So let's see. We've got our switch set. That's good. I'll just wait for it to go down and we'll switch back over to the boxcars line and keep on going. Okay, so it is past that switch. There's our boxcars all the way down there. Good. So we'll push the boxcar down. I don't think we're still attached to anything here. So it should go on its own. And something reconnected. Watch it be that dang boxcar again. Kind of what it seems like. Camera. Okay. We want to get rid of the boxcar, nothing else. There we go. Okay. So that's going to start rolling on its own. Now we can get back in here. So that's going to be a little bit easier to do than trying to run all these uncoupled. So I think that's how we're going to do this. So our next one is a flat car. We're going to wait for this guy to get back down and then swap it back over to that line. Okay. Now we can turn it loose. That was stupid. Oh well. We'll see how good we are here. Haha. Now that's really how it should work. It should work just that smoothly. Let's hit the right button here. And actually, we're going to go and fly over and see how well that worked. Because we do have... Why those are going the opposite direction, I'll never know. Now we do have 4 distinct sets of cars here. And that is the entirety of what we've got. So we've got 4 lines that we're going to be working with now. We've got our ore cars, our flat cars, our stake cars, our box cars, and our coal cars. So that's what we're going to be dealing with, and hopefully, hopefully, we have enough storage for them all. So we're going to go back down the hill, and we're going to grab the next rake, and we're going to bring it down. Now, if I'm lucky, ha ha ha, if I'm lucky, everything this time out will work a little bit smoother. I think it's going to be a better idea to couple everything and then just uncouple it manually as we go. I don't think it's going to really hurt anything to do that, especially considering that I am essentially doing this on my own. But we'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay, let's get this next set hooked up here. Figure out what switch I want to open up. So there's a fairly substantial number of cars that we've got sitting here. And the tally that I was taking includes what we've got up at the smelter and up at the ore mine, as well as what we've got sitting down here in the yard. I believe I said that earlier, but in case it wasn't exactly clear, that's what we're dealing with. Oops. And we've got one more. There we go. All right. Now let's go ahead and start our way back. So this seems to be a job for Lucky. This seems to be something he can handle. And I'll tell you what, if he falls over on his face just sitting there, we've got a major issue. But as far as that goes, this does seem like a job that this locomotive can handle. So that's good. That's something we need to have happen. We don't want we definitely don't want to have a locomotive just sit in the roundhouse forever. I mean, what good is it to have that? But as long as there's a respectable job that this locomotive can do, I don't see as a need we'll need. I don't see as we'll need to get rid of him, which is, I think, a good thing. The Montezuma, the Montezuma has its uses. I can use it for switching here in the yard. Lucky by himself is good for doing exactly what we're doing now. So I think that's a pretty good range of range of use for those two locomotives. That they're not just going to sit in the roundhouse all the time. That is, of course, when we open this up to multiplayer. That's going to be, those are going to be the rules moving forward. Is Lucky and the Montezuma stay in this main yard, specifically because they are not. One isn't powerful enough to do much of anything that we need to have done right now, and the other one is too unstable to do much of anything. So we're going to run this rake up the hill, and we're going to uncouple everything manually. And I think, well, I don't think there is a hotkey. I'll look. We'll break real quick and I'll look, but I don't think there is a hotkey. But we will uncouple everything manually so that we have a lot more control over what we're sending down the hump than what we had with that first lineup. So we're going to come right up here to the very edge of it. We'll set our switches once we get to that point. And I want to get right to the point where this one's starting to go down, which is right there. We'll go ahead and set our points, set our switches. And that's a boxcar, so boxcar. Okay. That one and that one. All right. So I will be right back. I'm going to check and see if there's a hotkey to uncouple these. Alrighty, I am back, and there is not there's not a button that I can press to uncouple everything, so or uncouple the cars. So that's not too big of a problem. We can do this manually. It's just a lot of back and forth like this. Whoops. Not, hopefully not like that, but a lot of back and forth like this to make everything work. So we'll send that one away. And I'm going to use fly mode for this, just for sake of speed. It's still going to take us a minute to get everything going, but we can get there. Okay, so that's the coal hopper. Actually need to put it on that line. Yep, okay. And we'll get it we'll bring it right up to the edge here. Okay. Get that uncoupled and it should go. And away it goes. Now, forgive my lack of commentary here. I'm kind of concentrating on what I'm doing a little bit. Okay. Go too far. So we need to set that switch back in. Once there we go. Go and unhook a boxcar. We, we. Okay, that unhooked and it should go, and it is. Fantastic. Next one's, is it going? Oh, it's going to take a while. Okay, but it is going. So we'll go ahead and get back in the locomotive. Bring this one up. Try and go a little bit further so that, there we go. And now that that one's once that one gets past, we'll open up the switch. Go and uncouple. And carry on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oops. Okay. Well, looks like we got to push that one a little bit. That's not a problem. It's sitting right at the top of the hill. Recoupling like that was not intentional, but we'll make it happen. There we go. Okay. Okay. So I think for sake of speed, this is going back and forth like this. I think it's going to be a trade-off of speed versus control. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to set the next car up to go, and we'll push it over the hill. Or get it started over the hill anyway. And that was a flat car or a stake car? It was a stake car, so we need it to be in that one. Now, with it being dark, I'm actually going to wait until um, we get some light out, if we can manage that. Because as you can see, there is just no way to really tell what I'm doing. So I will be right back. Alrighty, we are back, and I'm looking at my recording time. Um, you guys aren't going to see the recording time uh, full out unless I can get some subscribers on Patreon to unlock and reset the data limit that I've got for videos. Uh, but it looks like if we can't get this yard cleared out in this episode, we'll finish it up in the next episode. But for the moment, everything looks to be moving fairly well. The day-night cycle is eating up a lot of time. Plus, we did a little bit before we started working on this, so I'm not really too surprised that we don't have enough time left really to do much more than what we've got. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So we want that. Okay, going. Looks like we got a dust storm moving in. That's going to be fun. Okay, off it goes. Come back over here. Get back in the locomotive. Yeah, we might get one more rake done today. That'll be a fairly good episode there. And we'll stop there. Get our point set now that it's clear. Go and uncouple. Ah, camera. All right, and it's away. So our next one's a boxcar. I do believe. Yep. So let's see. Yep, right next to those. So once it gets past this switch right here, we will open up that switch and uncouple the boxcar. So we actually need to move forward a little bit. Okay. Helps if I go the right direction, doesn't it? Come on, camera. Work with me here. There we go. That one's away, and we're not going to be able to see it reach the sidings. So we're going to move a little bit further forward. Bring it to right about there. Open up the switch as soon as we can. There we go. And uncouple this next car. Uh-oh. Okay, well, I guess we didn't go far enough. There we go. Now we've gone far enough. And since our next car is a box car, we'll have to open up the switch again. So, right there. Go and uncouple it and continue on. There we go. That's more like it. The problem with these dust storms is that they last a day or two in this game. So we're probably this will probably be all we can see for a little while. So let's watch here till it goes down past this one. And we can go and uncouple the next car. And away it goes. All right. Another boxcar coming up. A little bit. Oops. I want the reverser. I want the brake. There we go. And you can kind of see how this could go fairly quickly. Uh, Given the right set of circumstances here. Because we are actually moving at a pretty good clip, so we may actually We may actually get another rake done today. So go ahead and put that there. Going on couple. Okay. Go and work on our switches here in a second. I don't think we need to move any further for a minute. Okay, so that one's passed. That one's clear. Going on couple. Actually, we do need to move forward again. But we've only got the 3 cars left, so wait for that one to get by and then swap open that switch. I don't know why those stake cars stop that far away from the thing, but whatever. Huh. All right, so that one's there. I got distracted, obviously. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's get our box car unhooked. Okay. Move up a little bit. Wait for it to get past the switch. See, with the dust storm being there, all we've got to look at is the map, which it's not the best thing in the world, but I mean it's better than looking at a blank screen, really. So there we go. Let's go ahead and uncouple this one. There we go. And then this one. Okay. So we've got our last car here. We know where it needs to go. We just got to wait for the switch to be clear. And you can see our sorting yard is filling up rather quickly, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so that switch is clear. Let's go ahead and give this one a little bit of a nudge. And while that one's rolling, we're going to go back down the hill and pick up another load. It looks like we've only got 4 lines of these left, and there's progressively less of them as we get through. But you can kind of start to see how this kind of thing is going to end up being probably fairly common here in this season. We're probably going to do a lot of this, particularly because we are getting so much of the rolling stock. Go that way. Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and pick up this next rake and do more of the same. And hopefully this dust storm picks up, or bonk. It lets up, I should say. Hopefully it clears up soon. All right, so that's that. And I've opened up that switch quite unintentionally. All right, well, that's no big deal. Pull it back off of that switch and we'll close it. And there we go. Okay. So we'll get this set sorted. And I think that's going to be the episode. We're going to go ahead and leave it there. And we'll get the rest in the next episode and put together a train that we have, or that we're going to have to take up to the, or we're going to have to take up on the north line. Or on the northbound line, I should say. Because ultimately, all of these cars have got a purpose. But we don't necessarily have a use for them yet. And I say yet because everything that we've got here now, we have industry. Hey, it looks like it's letting up a bit. We've got industry that needs them. So it could end up being that everything will get used, which is the intent. And the reason that most of it is staying down here in the valley is because, with the exception of the smelter and the hump yard up there, we don't have a whole lot of storage down in the main, in the main valley for the coal mine or for the ironworks. We don't have a whole lot of storage over there. We could put in more storage for the oil industries, but we really don't need to do that either. We've got and will have plenty of storage over here. And as far as that goes, we may put some storage on the west side of the hill here, but that's going to take a little bit of doing to make that happen because of the way all of the switches back there are set up. So we're just going to bring this right to the very edge. We're going to set our switches. And then we're going to go ahead and uncouple. I think we are, in fact, going to uncouple everything. I think we could probably manage that. Maybe. We may be able to manage that. So let's set that switch. And I think it's that one. Yep. Okay. So we will go ahead and uncouple everything here. Oh, yeah, may as well. We're halfway through it anyway. Oh, shoot. Okay. That boxcar's away. Our next one's obviously a flat car. So we're going to get that. We got that switch to open up once it gets past. Now we can let this one roll. Okay. Good. Right. All right. Come all the way back down here. There we go. And we're going to set our switch for that stake car. As soon as we see it go, we'll stop. Did it go? It did not. Come on, you can do it. Yes, I know I've got my brakes on. uh, a little bit. I just want to make sure that I'm not moving very fast when that one finally does go. And I'm hoping it actually goes soon because it would be nice to actually get the points started for the next one. Okay, something's wrong here. Something's wrong here because it should have gone by now. It's on the back side of that hill. And that's what's wrong. It was coupled. Dang it. Nope, we'll go and manually put it in then. And I suppose since all these are stopped clear up here, we'll put it in behind so that we don't have any issues later on. And you can see we almost had a very big problem. So that one's going to stop, or that one's stopped. It's not going to roll anymore. So we've got to move it over. And we'll put it just as close as we can over here. Okay. Now with the next one, it should just knock it right back into the one behind it. So it's a good thing we've got another stake car here, another two stake cars. We could actually leave those two coupled if I'd thought about it. But that's okay, because they're uncoupled from the gondola behind them. So we will see if we can get these two rolling. Send them down together. Now I should probably check my switches, but I'm fairly confident I didn't change anything. Yeah, we're okay. So we got one away. And two away. All right, so it's two away. That should give that just a little bit of momentum. And it did. Okay. Perfect. That gave it a little bit of momentum. We got our coal. Okay, so that's the one we want. There we go. And we're ready for our next car. So we'll ease that one over the hill. And it's away. With a stake car. Gosh dang it. You can hear them couple every now and then, and when you go back over and try and find them, they don't look like they're coupled, which is a problem because they need to be coupled, or they need to be uncoupled rather. Now, if need be, I probably will. You see, the state cars are the only ones that didn't, for whatever reason, they did not go all the way back. So I will probably come back and push them back in uh, when everything gets done, because you can see, for whatever reason, they just decide they want to go back forward. Well, this time, thankfully, they didn't. So we've got a coal hopper and a flatbed coming up. Okay. Dang it. Back in the cab. So we've got our coal hopper. We need to set our switch here, here, and here. And hopefully we can just kind of nudge this one over the edge and stop before that, uh, assuming it's uncoupled, stop before that flatbed goes, because we've got to undo a switch. Is it uncoupled? There it goes. Okay. It's rolling. That's good to see. So that one's going to roll all the way down. And then we're going to swap this switch right here. We're going to swap that one in to do the flat car. But ultimately, we're actually going to pop open this switch that's getting rolled over right now. Pop that one because we've got a boxcar coming up right immediately after. So let's go ahead and get this guy rolling again. And hopefully it's not connected to the boxcar, or we're going to have to play games with it. And it's not. That's good. But the boxcar is free. Yep, the boxcar is free, which means we're going to have a coupling incident here. We got no choice on it. Get as close as we can, and hopefully it doesn't just decide to go. It's right on the very edge. And it's going now. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our switches again. There we go. Yep. All right. Yep, that's still open. That's good. And as soon as that boxcar clears, we've got to swap back over to the ore cars, which is that switch there. And there we go. Now with that one still rolling, we can do this one. And we're probably going to end up having to wait. Oh geez, that's not going to be good. Oh. Oh. Oh, would you look at that? Whew. Okay. So let's find out. Let's find out if my ore car CLR ore. Yep, looks like it went in. Now let's see how far it pushes those two. Probably not very. I still don't know why the stake cars didn't go all the way as far as they needed to. At least everything's back there now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut right here, and I'm going to get these all uncoupled, and I will be back when the sun comes up. Alrighty, I am back. It's getting light enough out we can continue to see what we're doing, and it looks like we have yet another dust storm moving in. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what it is because the ground's starting to turn white or brown or whatever color that happens to be, somewhere in between. It's not snow, that's for sure. So we've got a stake car, which means we want that sighting. So let's see if we can't get it rolling without losing the last 3 cars along with it. Get it rolling just enough where it will break away. And there we go. It's rolling. Well, this one seems like quite a bit heavier than the last one in terms of wind and dirt. That's a way to that's a heck of a way to end a video, isn't it? So we've got this last one, that's an ore car, so we want that switch there. Yep, okay. Boy, this is quite the storm here. I wonder what's coming in behind it. I think we've already been through one dust storm in this episode already, and it wasn't nearly this bad. Visibility, and the visibility right now has definitely gone way down compared to the last one. Stop, boxcar. Okay. Oops. Boxcar has stopped. That's good. Oh, shoot. Well, dang it. You know, it looked like that one was clear. It looked like it was clear. So we're going to put it back in over here. Release the brake. That's still moving back. Looks like it might actually work its way back, but yeah, I don't understand why it didn't go back as far as it should have. If I'm not mistaken, that's almost all of our stake cars too, so that's a good thing. Okay, so we've got our box car here that we're probably going to have to unhook from the flat car. But we've got our switch set to where we want it. Let's go ahead and get back in our locomotive here and out of the wind. And hopefully we can connect up just easy enough that we don't send them both down the line. Okay. So let's go unhook. Check this one just to be sure. It's unhooked. Now, if this one starts to roll, we're not in any danger because we've already got our switch set. So let's go ahead and Give it a nudge. And there it goes. All right. So we'll sit here and wait for that one to cross over this switch here. Where is it? There it is. To cross over this switch here. Well, the wind's really whipping on this one. Alrighty, so we've got our last car for the day here, and we're just going to goose this one down. There it goes. So let's go and let's just jump on and ride it. Now we've got our switches set, so we shouldn't be at any risk of cramming into the wrong siding here. But essentially that's in a nutshell what's going to be happening for the first couple episodes here. Bonk. How close are we to this buffer? Or bumper stop, I should say. We're not in the UK. I grew up on Thomas the Tank Engine, so I call them buffers. They're not buffers, they're bumpers. Because we don't actually have buffers here. Who'd have thunk it? Okay, so with that, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today. And if you enjoyed the video, if you're glad to see a little bit of a new deal here on the videos with that new intro, leave a like on the video and comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm always open to critique and suggestions and comments. And if you enjoyed the video, you want to see more of these videos when they come out, why don't you guys hit the subscribe button? I appreciate all of my subscribers. I appreciate all my viewers. And I look forward to being able to make another video for you. So I will see you in the next one.